Abraham stood before God with trembling courage, and you stand here today carrying the weight of a world that feels too broken to hold. Abraham pleaded for mercy over a city drowning in corruption, and you plead for mercy over the chaos that keeps pressing against your heart. Abraham whispered the words, "Will you indeed sweep away the righteous with the wicked?" And you whisper your own questions in the quiet places where fear tries to grow. You feel the heaviness of watching people you love drift into danger. And Abraham felt that same ache as he looked toward Sodom. The burden feels real. Abraham approached God with a heart stretched thin by compassion, and you approach God with a heart stretched thin by exhaustion. Abraham saw the smoke of human choices rising in the distance, and you see the glow of screens filled with news that steals your peace. Abraham felt the tension between justice and mercy, and you feel the same tension as you try to understand what God is doing. Abraham stood in the gap for people who did not even know they needed saving, and you stand in the gap for people who may never thank you. This is holy ground. Abraham carried the weight of intercession like a fire in his bones, and you carry the weight of intercession like a quiet ache that never fully leaves. Abraham dared to speak again and again, and you dare to pray even when answers feel slow. Abraham returned to God with bold humility, and you return to God with weary hope. Abraham believed that mercy could still be found, and you believe that God has not abandoned the world you are praying for. Hope still breathes. You sit in the dim light of your room, staring at your phone, and the endless stream of headlines makes your chest tighten as if the world is unraveling thread by thread. You scroll through stories of violence and division, and your heart feels stretched between compassion and despair. You hear the hum of the office or the silence of your car, and you wonder how much more your spirit can carry before something inside you cracks. You feel the weight of people who are hurting, and you feel the weight of people who refuse to see their own danger. It feels overwhelming. You think about the friend who is drifting into choices that darken their soul, and you think about the family member who keeps running from the very God who can heal them. You think about the world that seems to be sprinting toward its own destruction, and you feel powerless to stop it. You think about the conversations you wish you could have, and you think about the prayers you wish you could pray with more strength. You think about the silence that follows your intercession, and you wonder if God is listening. The ache deepens. You carry the fear that your prayers are too small, and you carry the fear that your voice is too quiet to matter. You carry the fear that mercy is running out, and you carry the fear that judgment is drawing near. You carry the fear that you will lose the people you love, and you carry the fear that the world will not turn back in time. You carry the fear that you are standing alone in this place of intercession, and you carry the fear that your heart will break before the breakthrough comes. The night feels long. Yet even here, God meets you with the same patience He showed Abraham, and He invites you to lift your eyes from the darkness that surrounds you. You are not praying into a void, and you are not speaking into silence. You are standing before the God who listens with perfect attention, and you are held by the one who never grows weary of your voice. You are seen in your intercession, and you are strengthened in your weakness. God is near. You are heard by the God who counted every word Abraham spoke, and you are heard by the God who counts every word you speak today. You are standing before the Judge of all the earth, and He still delights to show mercy. You are lifting names that feel too heavy for your heart, and He carries them with a tenderness you cannot measure. You are praying for a world that feels beyond repair, and He reminds you that nothing is beyond His reach. Mercy remains. You see the brokenness, but God sees the story He is still writing. You see the danger, but God sees the rescue that has not yet unfolded. You see the rebellion, but God sees the moment when a heart will finally turn. You see the smoke rising from the choices of others, but God sees the mercy that can still fall like rain. He is faithful. You are praying for people who may never know you are fighting for them, and God is moving in ways you cannot see. You are lifting the names of those who resist Him, and God is softening places they do not even recognize. You are asking for mercy over a world that feels lost, and God is preparing redemption in places you thought were unreachable. You are standing in the gap with trembling hands, and God is standing with you in unshakable strength. You are not alone. Now breathe, and let the God of Abraham steady your heart as you continue to intercede for a world that feels fragile in your hands. Now rest, and let the one who holds all things remind you that your prayers are never wasted. Now trust, and let the God who listened to Abraham remind you that he listens to you with the same mercy. Now hope, and let the Spirit lift your eyes toward the horizon where redemption still rises. Peace returns. You are not responsible for saving the world, and you are not responsible for carrying every burden alone. You are invited to stand before God with honesty, and you are invited to trust Him with the outcomes you cannot control. You are called to intercede with compassion, and you are called to release the weight that was never meant to crush you. You are strengthened by the God who sees every tear, and you are renewed by the God who holds every name you lift. He is with you. You can pray with boldness because Abraham prayed with boldness, and you can pray with confidence because God has not changed. You can pray with hope because mercy still flows, and you can pray with courage because God still listens. You can pray with tenderness because His heart is tender toward you, and you can pray with endurance because His strength fills the places where yours runs out. You can pray with expectation because He is faithful, and you can pray with peace because He is near. God remains. May the God who heard Abraham hear you now with mercy that does not end.